Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Now this video is about the insight into the mind of a Pattaya girl, which some of you guys will probably think is impossible to do. But it is actually, if you have a lot of experience of living here and you begin to understand things. It's also a case of getting to know people well and having friends who live here and work here as I do, and they trust you after many years of knowing these girls. Now, we're actually going to have a walk along Dongtan Beach because it's beautiful while we have this chat, okay? Now, there's one girl in particular that I've known for a long time, and she trusts me and she opens up to me and tells me the way she thinks. Now, this particular girl by the name of Cookie, I met 7 years ago, before the pandemic, and she worked in a go-go bar, and we got to know each other in the usual way. And after that, COVID came, and she went home for a couple of years. Then she came back, and we got to be friends again. Now, the thing about Cookie is that she's very, very unusual in the fact that she speaks perfect English. I mean, really, really high quality English, better than a lot of English people, because her mother, who also worked in Pattaya previously, many years ago, met a Swedish guy in Pattaya when Cookie was only about 6 years old. And the Swedish guy, of course, as many Swedes, spoke very good English, but no Thai. And the mother spoke half decent English, so they held their communication in English all the time. So Cookie was brought up from being a child, I think about 7, with this Swedish guy who had retired, and she lived with him and his wife, her mother, constantly speaking English. She heard English spoken every day, all the time at home. Then as she got older, she followed in the steps of her mother and came to Pattaya at the age of 20, which is when I met her. Now, one of the problems I've found with the relationship with a Thai girl, or a friendship, is really the lack of communication, because their English is just not very good, and my Thai is only basic. So you really have a problem getting into a deep conversation and a proper conversation. I mean, that's basically why a lot of guys sit together in bars and chat, because they can't talk to their wives or their girlfriends. Now, the big thing about Cookie was that her English was so good that we could really get into a proper conversation about the difference from Thai culture and European Western culture with regard to intimacy. I think it's really quite interesting. Cookie's a very pretty girl, about an 8+, and slim, but that's not really her attraction for the guys. The big attraction for her is her English, because when she meets a guy, they're completely bowled over by the fact that they can have a proper conversation with her, and inevitably they fall for her, and they want to see her again and again and again, because it feels like a real relationship, not just like some Thai girl, you know what I mean? So she keeps getting guys falling in love with her all the time. She told me about it, and she's got 3 different guys who each send her 20,000 baht a month to her. I mean, they really are sponsors, but she has no feelings for any of them, zero. She tells me it's purely business, purely money, nothing else, no feeling whatsoever. But she tells them how much she's in love with them and everything. I mean, it's really crazy. And these guys believe her and keep sending the money. But her worst problem is that they want to come over sometimes at the same time. They're all in different countries. And she obviously has to try to say, if one wants to come at the same time as another, she says something like, "Oh no, I'm going home to Buriram that month." Like if it was New Year or something or whatever, I'm going home to Buriram for New Year, so I won't be here. But actually, she'll be with the other guy or one of the other guys. I won't be in Pattaya, but she will. So it comes at a different time, and she tells each guy that 20,000 baht isn't enough, so she has to keep working in Pattaya to support her whole family, because she's got parents and grandparents and a younger brother and a younger sister, all to support. So she needs to keep working in the go-go. That's her excuse. And the other day she told me she got bar fined for a couple of days by a younger guy. But she got really annoyed with him because he didn't want to go out. He wanted to stay in the room all the time for 2 days and wouldn't go to Insomnia or Republic for a night out and spend money because he didn't have much. That's one of the things she doesn't like about younger guys. So I said about older guys, and she said, well, they have money normally, you know. Not the expats, but the older guys on holiday on vacation have money. And the thing she likes about older guys is that many can't perform properly. So it's an easy job. But not so much with younger guys. That's why she limits them to not many and only when she's in the mood. Or she'll go to a bar host for some fun. I asked her how she feels about Pattaya, and she just said she loves being here. She loves the excitement. She loves the nights out. She loves the money. And it's the best thing that she ever did in her life as far as she's concerned, to come and work in Pattaya. As far as money's concerned, she makes between 100,000 and 150,000 baht a month, including the sponsors. But she always tells customers she's broke and has no money to pay her rent. And can you help me with a little bit of money for my rent? And she always plays that game. In actual fact, she makes about $4,000 a month tax-free. Now, she has an opinion of Thai men, which is not terribly high. She did have a Thai boyfriend from about 18 to 19 years old, when she was 18 and 19, just for the experience. And she found that there's a complete lack of knowledge, lack of education and general knowledge, and they're only interested in drinking and messing about. And she's been brought up by her stepfather and her mother. And this Swedish guy had given her some Western values. And she understood all about the West and everything, and he helped to educate her. So he was obviously a very good guy. When she was 16, he took her mother and her to Sweden for a couple of months. It really opened her eyes to Western culture. And since then, she made up her mind. She was not going to mess about with Thai guys at all. She was going to move to Pattaya as soon as she got to 20 years old, which is old enough to legally drink in Thailand and to work in a bar. And she told me the biggest surprise which she had when she first started working in Pattaya was the difference between, how can I put it, how well endowed Western men are compared to Thai men. And it really shocked her. She went home sometime later, after the first month or two, and her ex-boyfriend wanted to see her again, her Thai boyfriend, when she was back in Buriram. And she basically said to him, "No, I'm not interested, you're too small." God, I wonder how you felt about that. I thought it was really funny when she told me that. But many of her friends who work in the bar with her have Thai boyfriends, mainly because their English is not very good and they can't have a proper conversation. So they have a Thai boyfriend because they can speak properly together and understand each other fully. So that's part of the reason why they have a Thai boyfriend. The guys don't care. They put up with it because they want the money. I mean, usually those girls only do ST, not LT. So I asked Cookie which was more important, money or love. And her answer was really quite logical. And she said, I have love already with my family, and I need money. They need money. And the way I get money for my family is through this job. Yeah. She said, I know many Falang who are looking for love. And that's what they want. So that's what I give them, or pretend to give them. And they give me money. Now, as Cookie said, one thing that I have noticed about Thai girls is that they don't keep the money for themselves. Not all of it. They spend a lot on sending home. They send a lot of money home to the family. And many have children and grandmothers and grandfathers and parents who don't seem to work, especially the fathers. They just seem to drink whiskey all day. And also some have got younger sisters, younger brothers, and they have school fees and all that sort of thing. So they have to send a big chunk of their money that they make home. And sometimes, I mean, they don't seem to resent it. It can be half money or more. They think it's normal. It's like they're obliged to do it, and that's the way they feel. Now, there's some guys out there who send money to girls in Thailand as a sponsor, thinking that a girl is in love with him. Now, that's what she'll tell you. Then you need to listen to what Cookie said. She said that with many girls, you're not the only one, as far as guys are concerned. You're not the only one for many girls. Some girls have one or two or more sponsors if they're attractive. If they're not attractive, then it's not so much a problem. But if they're living in Pattaya, they will still be taking customers. Thai girls will always tell you what they think you want to hear, not what the truth is necessarily. Or the other thing they do is they will tell you half the truth, but not the second half. And it's the second half which makes all the difference and completely reverses the whole thing. That's if they bother to tell you at all. A lot of time, they will never tell you the full story. They only tell you half. The only time that they tell you the full story is when it's in their interest to do so. That's the way it is. Now, regarding her age, as far as a Thai girl is concerned, the young ones want to go out partying to Insomnia, Republic, etc., nightclubs every night. As soon as they finish work, basically, in bars, you know. All that sort of thing is a very unstable lifestyle. But what happens with the Thai girls is that as they get older and start pushing toward 30, they change and start thinking more about financial stability than just having fun. And that's when they tend to start looking for more older guys with money. If you're an older guy, like over 40 or 50-ish and beyond, then you'll tend to go out with a girl over 30 or 30-ish. Yeah. I mean, a lot of them look a lot younger than 30, you know. I mean, the main reason to go with older guys is because they're financially stable. And a lot of them are obviously there with money, but there are some expats which don't have money, and they can quickly suss them out, you know. There are people here who have very good pensions and are very stable, and that attracts the older Thai girls over 30. And the other reason, as they get older, they want to find financial stability with older guys is that the older guys tend not to be butterflies. You know, like younger guys are, changing girls every day. When people get older, this tends not to happen as much. I mean, you know that what Thai guys are like. They're just completely unfaithful all the time. And the girls really when they start to interact with feline, they leave that behind, most of them. When they get older, the young ones are still silly, and they still have Thai boyfriends. When they get toward 30, they very rarely have Thai boyfriends because they've sussed them out, you know. I mean, they want a financially stable, emotionally stable lifestyle when they get older. The other things about getting older is that there are a lot of young girls here, and the young girls attract the young men. So the older ones don't really have much of a choice, because the young men are taken by the young girls. So even though they may still look young, it don't feel right to them to go with a guy who's younger than them. You know, I know that I've been told that several times. Now, the other thing is when they get past 30, their earning potential starts to diminish. And that's also when they start looking for financial security. So they'll try to find a guy who is stable, has money. Once they find him, they'll actually start with the love bombing, you know, really like pushing it and saying they're in love with him and everything, doing everything for him, and all this business. And the guy has never experienced anything like this before. He's bowled over completely. It's never happened in his life that he's been love bombed in this way. And they fall for it. Many guys fall for it. They believe the girl is in love with them, and they get emotionally involved and tied up with everything, and the girl gets what she wants. She gets the guy to support her and live together and pay money toward her family and all that sort of thing. If they want to have fun in their 20s, then that's fine. But then when they get older, they want stability. Now, be aware, this is really just a warning, so that you know it may not be genuine. If you're actually in that position now, it may not be genuine. It may purely be to get you to finance the family. So just make sure you remember that, okay? Anyway, guys, before you go, please check that you are still subscribed, because YT have been unsubscribing people from Pattaya channels. A lot of it has been going on. So please check, okay? And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and like and share and ring the bell. And please look at Patreon. You'll love it. You will love Patreon. All the Soy 6 and Gents Club catwalk videos and everything. You'll absolutely love it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. A little bit of fun, a bit of advice. This is Thailand. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. I'll see you on the next video, and I hope you enjoyed the walk along Dongtan Beach.